All right, perfect. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. I want to welcome you guys to a live after a long time, and this is a very important live that we're doing. And specifically due to Ramadan, we're focusing on Zakat on crypto. Now, hope you guys have had an amazing Ramadan so far. We are coming to you guys from two different locations. I'm here in Canada, Mufti Bilal. Mufti Bilal, where are you joining us from?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am in Reunion Island. Reunion Island.
He's enjoying the warm
Japan.
weather.
Yes. It's I think it's around 28 degrees right now.
MashaAllah.
We are in Isha time at the moment.
MashaAllah. And I'm my time's in the morning. So uh, we're gonna answer pretty much everything you need to know about when it comes to Zakat on crypto. We're gonna go into details about crypto. And just quickly before that, I want to let you guys know that Marhaba DeFi is working really hard and actually developing a complete solution for you guys when it comes to giving your zakat, even calculating your zakat on crypto. Soon, inshallah, will be deployed on the Sahal wallet. Obviously, join our social media and Discord and Telegram to know the most recent updates on that. But without any further ado, Mufti Bilal, I'll kind of start off the questions with what is zakat? Tell us, like, just basics.
So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Zakat, if we have to look at it from the definition of the Islamic jurisprudence,
Hmm.
then it would refer to paying a fixed percentage of wealth, which and this percentage has been prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this percentage of wealth is payable to deserving recipients. So
Okay.
this is the meaning from a fiqh, from a jurisprudence perspective.
Hmm.
But in the literal meaning of zakat,
Hmm.
many people tend to think that zakat means charity.
Hmm.
Zakat does not mean charity per se. The
Okay.
literal meaning of zakat can either be applicable to three different definitions. First one is purification. Zakat
Hmm.
means purification. The
Hmm.
second definition could be zakat is means growth. And the third definition is that zakat can be used in the context where it means blessing. So
Hmm.
these are the three literal meaning of zakat that can be used according to their own context. But at no point zakat means charity according to the literal meaning.
Okay. MashaAllah. All right. So we talked about purification, growth, and blessings. Um, can you kind of define, how are these things defined when it comes to like zakat specifically in Islam?
So you know when they say if zakat does not mean charity,
Yeah.
then why is zakat called zakat then?
Mm. Mm.
You know
Subhanallah.
what I mean? If zakat
Uh-huh.
means, we know zakat as giving a fixed percentage of wealth to deserving recipients. But what's the
Hmm.
connection? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose to call it zakat?
Hmm.
Well, the ulama, the scholars have explained that one of the reason why zakat means zakat is that because when you pay zakat, it
Hmm.
can act as a mean of purification.
Hmm.
It can act as a mean of purification
Hmm.
for the payer as well for the recipient.
Okay.
How does that happen? Well, the scholar explained that usually nobody likes to give money away, especially when it's for free.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
likes to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So illa mashallah, there are some people, they're very, very generous, but in general, nobody likes to do that. Especially when it comes when people, and this is why we should never associate or try to associate zakat with tax. Although zakat functions as a tax,
Hmm.
a system, but it does not mean tax. The
Hmm.
reason why I'm saying you should not associate it with tax is because usually people hate tax.
Hmm. Hmm.
And here, zakat is an act of ibadah.
Hmm.
You should
Hmm.
not think of it as a tax, otherwise, you could end up hating it, right?
Yeah.
Look at it from the positive angles.
Uh-huh.
Zakat means purification, i.e., when you pay your zakat, it
Uh-huh.
can purify your heart from greed,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But for the one who's receiving zakat, it can also act as a mean of purification in the sense that it can purify his heart from jealousy. You know, when you, and this is why Imam Qarafi as well, rahmahullah, he said, Malik scholar, he said, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the system of zakat where the poor people share in the wealth of the rich people,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Why? So that, you know, it can purify their heart from the jealousy, so that they don't sit around and think, oh, you look at this guy, he's got gold, he's got silver, I got
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Look at this guy, he's got business. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's got business stock, he's selling these things, but I got nothing. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this system so that it can act as a means of purification, not only for the payer, but also for the recipient. So this is why
Subhanallah.
zakat is called zakat. Zakat means growth. Then how is that related to zakat as an act of ibadah? Well, the
Mm-hmm.
ulama says when you give zakat, the one who pays a zakat, he can witness a growth.
Mm-hmm.
He can witness a growth.
Mm-hmm.
How? Well, the growth he can witness is either in the reward on the day of judgment,
Mm-hmm.
or he can witness a growth in his wealth in this world,
In this dunya. Could it be
in this
both?
dunya. It could be both. It could be
Subhanallah.
both.
Okay.
And
Beautiful.
Imam Nawawi rahimahullah, he says that sometimes it is possible that you will see a growth without even understanding where that growth came from.
Yes. Yes. Subhanallah. And I think some of us feel that on a daily basis in our lives.
Sometimes, exactly. Sometimes we think, where
Alhamdulillah.
did that money come from? But it can also be a mean of growth for the one who is receiving zakat. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because if a person has got £0, $0 in his bank account, and you
Mm-hmm.
come and give him zakat, you give him $200 worth of zakat, then what
Mm-hmm.
is he witnessing? A growth in his wealth. So this is
Mm-hmm.
why zakat is called zakat. And
Subhanallah.
finally, zakat can mean a mean of blessing. And we, as I said, you know, it's either barakah in your life, barakah in your wealth, barakah in the reward. For both, for the one who's receiving zakat and for the one who is the recipient of zakat as well. So
Subhanallah.
that's why zakat is called zakat.
Amazing. Okay, so why is it important in today's day and age? Why do we need to pay it? And what importance does it hold in our life?
Well, you know, as I said, you know, if we look at the blessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just to give you, just to put it into context,
Mm-hmm.
today, I mean, a few years ago, the United Nations,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they created this sustainable development agenda,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's got, I think, 17 goals to achieve or
Main
something,
goals, yeah, yeah.
main goals,
SDGs, yeah.
SG. Now, according to the estimate, they said that we need between 3 to 4 billion US dollar a year. We need to mobilize this much money a year to
Mm-hmm.
achieve this agenda by 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Three to
Mm-hmm.
four billion US dollar a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you know how much zakat is
Yes.
estimated to be given a year?
I don't know,
Do you
but
know?
I'm going to take a guess here,
Yeah.
because I know there's multiple billionaires and potentially also combine them, it could be worth above trillion. So I'm going to say if we take the baseline of
Yeah.
2.5%, about 30 billion to about $40 billion.
No. So the sustainable agenda needs 3 to 4 trillion. Sorry, three to
Okay,
four
sorry.
trillion.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But the zakat payment, the
Mm-hmm.
Islamic Development Bank has estimated to be in the region of 500 billion US dollar that is
So,
given every year.
Subhanallah.
500 billion. And somewhere, I don't remember where, I saw one figure that actually it can be as near as to 1 trillion. Now, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
If people were giving zakat correctly,
Mm-hmm.
and if the zakat was to be distributed correctly,
Mm-hmm. Evenly, fairly, yeah.
then what couldn't we have achieved? You tell me.
Fair
So,
enough.
is this not a mean of blessing? Is this not important enough?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
Understand?
yeah, I mean, we can go on a tangent about this, but I want to bring
Of
it.
course, yeah.
Yeah, we can. I want to bring it right to back to this topic about crypto.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
crypto is a new industry, and we've talked about, people have talked about zakat on stocks and zakat on real estate, but let's just kind of introduce it. do we need to pay zakat on crypto? I mean, it's we're talking about not a physical asset and all these different things, and I'm gonna kind of put you on the spot and be like, can you give me some proof from the Quran or Sunnah about crypto specifically?
Well, usually, especially when it comes to muamalat, uh, financial affairs, people like to ask, they ask questions and then they say, oh, give us proof from Quran and Hadith. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Let us get one thing out of the way now,
uh huh,
that crypto
yeah,
has never been mentioned anywhere in the Quran or in the Hadith.
uh huh,
You
uh
can search until Qiyamah.
huh.
You will not find a word. You will
There's
not
no,
find a mention.
no nothing in Arabic accent to like crypto or something like that. Nothing like that. Just nothing.
If
Okay.
you think, some people they say, for example, yeah, is dye halal or not? Please give me proof from Quran and Hadith. That has
Yeah.
not been mentioned in the Quran and Hadith.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
not everything has to be mentioned in the Quran and Hadith. Not
Mhm.
everything
Mhm.
has been mentioned
Mhm.
in the Quran and Hadith, and not
Mhm.
everything has to be mentioned in the Quran and Hadith.
Mhm. Mhm.
Remember that.
Mhm.
However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Islam is a way of life.
Mhm.
Yeah. There would have been no point, to go into every single details. Imagine, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know, in the time where he came, in Saudi Arabia, talking to Sahabas about crypto, you know, how would it have made sense to them? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His wisdom, He did not give us the answers to everything, clearly, but He
Mhm.
gave us the principles.
Mhm.
These principles, and I don't remember which scholar it was. It was a long time ago. I was in a masjid in Preston in the UK, in Lancashire,
Mhm.
and it was Ramadan, and somebody who came from abroad, he was a teacher in tafsir, and he
Okay.
said something very beautiful right at the start. This was
Mhm.
over 10 years ago. He said, Quran, one of the miracle of the Quran is that it can be applicable throughout any era. It
Mhm.
updates itself. It
So.
updates itself. If you were to look at the Quran in, the year 1500,
Mhm.
yeah, you will think the Quran is talking to you. When in
Yeah.
2023, you look at the Quran, if you want, you will see that the Quran is still talking to you, even
Mm.
with the technological advance. Yeah,
Mhm.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through His wisdom, has given us principles. Throughout these principles, we need to judge whether, crypto, or whether, anything that's not been mentioned clearly in the Quran, whether they are Sharia compliant or not.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, when it comes to zakat, to answer your question, Ahmed, is that there are four broad categories of zakatable assets that
Mhm.
have been identified through Quran and Sunnah.
Mhm.
Four broad assets. The
Mhm.
first one is business stock. Business
Mhm.
stock. What do we mean by business stock? Business stock in the Sharia sense, when it comes to in the zakat context, it does not mean, everything that is related to the business. Like for example, your equipment, although it's classified as business stock, in the accounting sense, but
Mhm.
from in the zakat context, this is not a business stock. A business stock in the zakat context is anything that you buy with the intention of selling. This is what is classified as a business stock.
Mhm.
So this is one category of zakatable asset. The
Mhm.
second category of zakatable asset is gold and silver.
Mhm.
The third one is agricultural produce,
Mhm.
and the fourth one is livestock.
Okay.
Now, when you ask me, is crypto zakatable? Yeah, crypto does not fall directly under any of it is not part of a broad categories,
I
but
get
it
it.
doesn't
Yes.
matter. What we
Yeah.
need to judge now, what we need to assess, is whether it falls under any of these categories.
Mhm.
Meaning,
Mhm.
can we look at it as a business stock? Does it fall under gold and silver, etc., etc.?
Mhm.
This is how we assess whether crypto is a zakatable asset or not, and
Mhm.
this is how the ulama of the past, they have always tried to determine whether something is zakatable or not,
Mhm.
or even whether something is halal or not. Right?
Mhm.
People say, "Is crypto halal?" Well, it's not mentioned in the Quran and Hadith, but we're going to look at it from Islamic principles to determine whether it's halal or not. So this
Mhm.
is how we're going to have to determine whether crypto is halal or not. And to further answer the second part of your question is that crypto, some of the crypto can be zakatable and some of them are not zakatable, and this is what we're going to see today, inshallah.
Hmm. Okay. Now this brings, see, I'm noting down more questions, but this brings me to my next question. Is okay. Let So you're saying, yes. So the there's specific tokens and there's crypto. It is zakatable. But okay, so explain to me, hear me, help me out here. Which tokens and can you structure this out? And how would they be zakatable? For example, are stable coins zakatable? Are your layer one zakatable? Are utility tokens zakatable? Like, help me out, understand this. Break it down for us a little bit more.
So I would say me personally,
Mm-hmm.
when you need to determine whether something is zakatable or not,
Mm-hmm.
the first question you need to ask yourself
Mm-hmm.
is, did you buy did you buy the crypto with the intention of selling?
Mm-hmm.
With the intention of selling.
Mm-hmm.
If the answer is yes,
Mm-hmm.
then you must pay zakat of on the entire value of the crypto asset.
So let's say if you did it under the intention that I'm going to make an investment.
So one thing I will clarify here
Okay.
is that we need to differentiate between intention of selling
Mm-hmm.
and intention of holding something as a store of value.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people they say, "Oh, I'm just buying crypto now,"
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and hoping that if ever in 5 years time, 10 years time, 20 years time, you know, the value of these crypto they go up, yeah, and I become a millionaire, then I'm gonna sell it.
Mm-hmm.
This is when you store, you keep the crypto as a store of value. You're not really buying it for selling. You're
Mm-hmm.
just hoping that it can be sold later on for a
Mm-hmm.
very good price. You don't pay zakat on that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But when you buy with a firm intention that no, I'm buying it, especially people that do day trading, etc.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
buy and sell.
Mm-hmm.
They try to look at the market situation, thinking, okay, speculators, etc. When they buy cryptos for selling purposes, then they have to pay zakat on the entire market value of the crypto. Meaning, on my zakat anniversary date, I'm going to look at how much my crypto are worth today, and I'll pay my zakat on that. It's not necessary on how much you paid for it; it's how
Okay.
much they're worth today.
Yeah.
If they're much more than what you paid for, you pay zakat on it. If they're below than what you pay for, you still pay zakat on that value.
I was gonna say no. Then you ask for zakat. Oh, that's a joke. That's a joke. Because some of these investments have gone down recently, so like, I
Yeah,
don't
but
mind
if it's
getting.
gone down, then you just pay zakat on it. But
Yeah.
even though it's gone down, but as long as your intention of selling is there, that
Okay.
is the first. If your intention is not for selling,
Mm-hmm.
that like I said to you, maybe you bought it, as a store of value,
Uh-huh.
or maybe you bought it for any other purposes, maybe because it's going to generate an income, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Then to determine whether you need to pay zakat or not, we need to look at what type of crypto you are actually holding in your hands.
Okay, we will get to this. I think I'm gonna ask you a little bit more about staking and because Miro's coming up and Amplify is coming up, so I'm gonna get to this. Right, that's a little bit side topic, a different topic. I want to get back to this. So you said day traders. Let's say if the day traders keep trading, buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. He starts off at $10, makes $100. Um, and he didn't hold the tokens for the entire 1 year. Is that 1 year thing required or is it not?
Look, everybody must have a zakat anniversary date.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody must have a zakat anniversary date.
Mm-hmm.
This needs to be fixed, is a specific date fixed to
Mm-hmm.
the Islamic calendar.
Okay.
If your date is not fixed to the Islamic calendar, you fix it to the Gregorian calendar, it is not good. To say that I'm paying my zakat every Ramadan is not good enough. You need the date to be fixed.
Okay.
Then the easiest method to calculate your zakat is the Hanafi method.
Okay.
The Hanafi school of jurisprudence says a very simple rule.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you have from the zakatable asset on your zakat anniversary date, you just pay zakat on that.
Okay.
If today is my zakat anniversary date, I have £5,000, I pay zakat on £5,000. Even if some of the £5,000 was not with me for an entire 12 months period,
Okay.
it
I
doesn't
see.
matter.
Okay.
Meaning, today is my zakat anniversary date. 2 days ago, somebody came and gave me £1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have the money today in my zakat anniversary date, I have to pay zakat on it.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're
Okay.
saying. I see what you're
The
saying.
12 months ruling, very
Mm-hmm.
briefly, I'm going to say, I'm not going to explain how it
Yeah.
works. I'm just going to say, if you were to apply the 12 months ruling correctly, you will not have one zakat anniversary date in the year. You will end up paying multiple
Ah.
zakat in the year. You could end up paying
Okay.
multiple zakat.
I see what
So
you're
that's why
saying.
it's called.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. And then, but just the Hanafi understanding on this is just keep your life simple, just pay it as a whole from that one day, exactly 1 year after. Okay,
Correct.
now I'm gonna get into some of the explicit questions to crypto. All right, Sheikh, you ready?
Yeah. Yes, go on.
Okay. What if the crypto holding of a person is below the nisab value? And then one, could you explain nisab? And then two, answer the question.
Well, the nisab is the threshold. Okay. The
Hmm.
nisab is a threshold,
Hmm.
and it actually determines whether you need to pay zakat or not.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. That's what it's about.
Hmm.
It's not, the exact. No, okay. Now, you have two nisab, the
Hmm.
gold nisab and the silver nisab.
Hmm.
The gold nisab is, according to the Hanafi, is worth 87.48 grams of gold
Yep. Hmm.
and 612.36 gram of silver.
Hmm.
With the other school of jurisprudence is slightly a bit lower. It's 85 grams of gold and 595 grams of silver.
Hmm.
Now, what does that actually mean? It means that if your zakatable wealth is equal above, the nisab value, then you must pay zakat.
Hmm.
If it's below the nisab value, then you don't pay zakat.
Hmm.
A lot of people, they make a mistake saying that, oh, if, for example, yeah, if the nisab is fixed to £300, for example, and
Hmm.
they have £1,000 in their bank account, instead of paying zakat on the entire £1,000, they just pay zakat on £700. They think, the nisab is the exempted value, like,
Hmm.
the first £300 is math, basically, it's forgiven.
Hmm.
No, it doesn't work like that. It's just to tell you whether you need to pay zakat or not. That's the first thing. The
Hmm.
second thing is, which nisab do you use? The scholars, they have differed about it, but in general, you use gold nisab if you have gold only as asset.
Hmm.
But if you have a mixture of asset, meaning if you have like gold and silver, or if you have cash only, or if you have cash and crypto, etc., then you use the silver nisab. You
Hmm.
use the silver nisab. Now, when it comes to crypto, what if your crypto holding is below any of these two nisab, is below gold nisab, is below the silver nisab, you need to see whether you have cash. Like, it's possible you have like £100 worth of crypto,
Hmm.
but £1,000 worth of cash. So
Hmm.
what you need to do is you need to combine these zakatable asset together, the value, combine the value,
Hmm.
and then you pay zakat on the full value of both.
Hmm.
Do you understand? So
Okay.
if you have £1,000 plus £100, that's £1,100. You pay 2.5% of 1,100.
Hmm.
People, they make the mistake thinking, oh, if my crypto is below the nisab, then I don't need to pay zakat on that. No, you need to add the value onto the cash value
There
and
you
pay
gotta
zakat.
figure out the total. You gotta figure out the total amount. So
Correct. Yes.
you know what? You bring up the exception. Sorry, you take out the nisab value and then you calculate. There's a lot of calculators online that have that. So
Yes.
it's interesting that you said that. That's why we need our own calculator.
Which we're testing, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
Mashallah, alhamdulillah, I have been working on the calculator. Is worth mentioning that
yeah.
inshallah, obviously, will be released. We're currently testing it,
Mhm.
but I can say that by far it's the first version, but
Yeah.
it's the only and the best crypto
Base.
calculator out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
Correct.
seen it. I've
Yeah.
had the opportunity to play with it a little bit, and I was like putting in my own investments and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is very interesting. How each token had its own like category and stuff, so it was just cool. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next question. All right, what if someone has haram cryptos? Do they pay zakat on them? This is a good question.
Anything haram that you have, whether it's haram crypto, is haram cash,
Mm-hmm.
you don't pay zakat on it.
Subhanallah. Okay.
Haram wealth must be given away without
Anyways,
the
yeah.
intention of being rewarded. If
Yes.
you have
Yes.
£1 million
Yeah.
of cash that you
Mm-hmm.
have stolen from somebody, 10 years ago, and you think, oh, you know what, I'm going to give it into charity now, inshallah, Allah will reward me. No, Allah cannot
No,
reward
you're
you that
balancing.
money.
you're trying to balance out the problem.
Yes,
Yeah, and you
yes,
still gotta do Toba. So that's a
yes, exactly.
yeah.
You still have to do tawbah. So you don't pay zakat on haram crypto. You have to give it away.
Okay, perfect, guys. Everybody who made Shiba Inu, uh,
Shiba
we'll get
Inu,
into that after.
Dai,
Yeah, yeah.
FTX.
We'll get into these things. Okay, so okay, now, so because Miro is coming out and Amplify is coming out, this is a really good question. So passive income, okay. So let's talk about something like Miro staking. Now, not proof of staking, but staking in the sense of you putting your money into a pool, which you're making money from the transaction stuff. Do you have to pay zakat on that? We'll get to proof of staking also, but I know that's a whole different conversation. But for this,
Uh, well, I would say because obviously, before, because Mira is a bit particular. But when it
hmm
comes to staking, obviously, like we need to know what's the structure of the staking, right? Well, like
hmm
you said, it can be proof of stake or it can be different type of staking. So you have something called, for example, staking token. So staking
hmm
token basically they are LP tokens. So like for example, you put
hmm
your liquidity into a pool, liquidity pool,
hmm
and then in exchange you receive LP token that represent the
hmm
value your share value of the tokens that you have deposited. Then what happens
hmm
then after that? These LP token you go on and stake them for more
hmm
rewards. So you stake them, these
hmm
LP token for more rewards. Like for example, there's I think it's 3CRV, the LP
hmm
three pull curve. Yeah.
hmm
So these type of staking token, they're not zakatable. Why? Because
hmm
they don't represent nothing. They just represent your share of
It's
your
like
investment. It's
it's
not
like a
money.
contract.
It's like a
It's
contract.
like a contract.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Okay.
thing is, because you mentioned Miro, yeah, this,
hmm
to cut it very short, yeah, is that
hmm
in Miro you're staking which token are you going to be staking?
there's mirrors our own token.
It's
Marhaba.
marhaba token. So the
Yeah.
question we need to ask ourselves is, do we need to pay zakat on marhaba token or not?
That don't answer this yet because that's coming three questions down the
Okay,
line.
so
Inshallah.
we will leave that
Yeah.
for now. So we'll
Yeah.
go with it.
Okay.
Okay, but for
But
the
you okay? So you're
staking,
saying
it
yeah.
depends on of the underlying token itself. That's what it
Okay.
depends on. If it's
Okay.
a zakatable token, then you need to pay zakat on it. If it's not a zakatable token, like for example, the staking token, the LP token that you stake, then you don't pay zakat
hmm
on it. So it all depends on the underlying token which is being staked. Okay.
Okay. So okay. So then this question is gonna be answered fully right
Yeah.
after. Um. Okay. Let's get through these two questions and then we'll come back to finishing off this question. Is there zakat on utility discount tokens?
So there are tokens that are
Uh huh.
specifically designed for discount only. They provide you with
Okay.
discount.
Uh huh.
Actually, let me put it this way. Do we pay zakat on utility token? Okay,
Okay.
because discount, you mentioned about utility. So discount is a utility, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a utility token basically is a token that gives you access to certain features or certain
Mm-hmm.
benefits, or it
Mm-hmm.
makes you entitled to certain rights. For example,
Mm-hmm.
if you have that token, then you will be able to get some discounts
Mm-hmm.
on the platform. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe you will be, you will get access to certain feature. That's why it's called a utility token.
Mm-hmm.
If you bought what did I say earlier? Any token that you've purchased, obviously provided is halal, of course. Any token
Mm-hmm.
you've purchased with the intention of selling, you pay zakat on it, irrespective of the type of token it is, whether it's
Okay.
utility token or etc. etc. But if you didn't buy it for selling, and you bought it specifically to have access to these benefits or to these
Mm-hmm.
utilities, then you do not pay zakat on them. You don't pay zakat on them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
they don't represent anything. They just give you access to certain rights. That's all.
Okay. Just a point here, guys. If you guys have questions specifically, please put them in any of the chats you're on. This could be LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Telegram, Twitter. We're doing live stream on all platforms. If you have questions, put them in the chat because it will pop up on my chat, and I'll ask that to Mufti Bilal after in the ending of the session, and we're doing AMA at the ending. Okay. Next question is there zakat on governance token?
So again, governance token is a, I would say, is a type of utility token as well, because it gives you
Mm-hmm.
right to voting, to vote, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So again, if you bought the token for selling purposes, then you pay zakat on it. But if you didn't
Mm-hmm.
buy it for selling purposes, you bought it
Mm-hmm.
specifically to get access to these voting rights or to be part of the
Mm-hmm.
governance structure, then you do not need
Mm-hmm.
to pay zakat on the governance token.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, now we come back to the question that we were kind of still at. Um, well, we can answer this in the sense of staking general and also staking with like Miro. So let's say Marhaba tokens. First, Marhaba tokens. I've held Marhaba tokens for a year. Are Am I gonna pay zakat on it? And am I gonna pay zakat? How am I gonna pay zakat? Because the price has volatile. So let's say I bought 100 Marhaba tokens exactly 1 year ago. Now the price has gone up, and or it's gone up and down, up and down. Now it's a little bit more than what I bought exactly 1 year ago. How am I paying zakat on this?
You pay zakat on whatever the value of your marhaba token is worth today on your zakat anniversary
Okay,
date.
perfect.
Okay.
Second question to this is: there's a lot of people that have tokens vested, are investors. Are they paying
Before I,
zakat on? Yeah.
just before I answer this question, Ahmed,
Okay.
we need to
Hmm.
explain to people why we actually need to pay zakat on the marhaba token.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do
What?
that.
So earlier I mentioned about utility token. If you buy it with the
Hmm.
intention of selling, you pay zakat on it. If you don't buy it with the intention of selling, you buy
Hmm.
with the intention of having access to rights. You don't pay zakat on it. Now,
Hmm.
if people would have paid attention, on the white paper or the green paper in the past, uh, there was a mention that marhaba is a utility token.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so why are we paying zakat on it? Well, initially, marhaba token started off as a utility
Hmm.
token.
Hmm.
It started off as a utility token. But later
Hmm.
on, especially when the Souk NFT was created, where
Hmm.
people were trading NFTs and receiving
Hmm.
payment with Marhaba token, then
Hmm.
Marhaba token adopted a new feature, which is a payment
Hmm.
feature. So
Okay.
now, from a Sharia perspective, these terminologies we've created them. Okay, we've created them. The SGB, the Sharia board of Marhaba, created these features to categorize these different cryptos, to look at it to
Hmm.
analyze them from a Sharia angle. Uh, we call these type of token hybrid token.
Okay.
Most of these cryptos that you have out there, sorry,
Hmm.
they are usually hybrid tokens.
Hmm.
What is a hybrid token? A hybrid
Hmm.
token is basically a token that has double function, dual function. It can act as
Hmm.
a utility token, i.e., when you hold the token, you get access to certain rights such as discount or
Hmm.
governance. But at the same
Hmm.
time, you can use that token to for payment purposes on the ecosystem of where the token has been issued.
Hmm.
It can act as a
Hmm.
means of payment, like
Hmm.
the case of Marhaba token. So we call this
Hmm.
token hybrid token. And our ruling, the SGB ruling on hybrid token and specifically Marhaba token, is that because of the payment feature of the token, that token will fall under the category of money. And since money is zakatable, you will have to pay zakat on the token that has got a payment feature as well. You will have to consider it to be payment.
Okay.
This obviously, we might as well clarify it that any payment token, like for example,
Hmm.
that falls, or any token that falls under, or coin that falls under the category of cash or money,
Hmm.
is always zakatable. It does not
Hmm.
matter whether you've made the purchase for selling or not selling. It doesn't matter because it's like cash. Cash is always zakatable, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin
Hmm.
or any
Hmm.
payment token, Ethereum, any token,
Hmm.
hybrid token that has got payment feature, they're always
Hmm.
zakatable.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. So now we know we have to pay zakat.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's get back to the question
Yes.
about the vesting.
Yes.
All right. Now there's a lot of investors that have vested tokens, right?
Yes.
Which they're gonna get over the next 2 years or 1 year, depending on your investment pool. Now, let's just say hypothetically speaking, I have 1,000 MRHB tokens that I'm gonna get over the next 2 years. Is that zakatable?
No. The reason
Okay.
why is because initially,
Mm-hmm.
when you've
Mm-hmm.
purchased the token, you've
Mm-hmm.
purchased it as a utility token. We remember we did the Pay
Mm-hmm.
Salam. I think it's explained somewhere in our documentation. You
Yeah.
know, because you can do Pay Salam, you can do forward sell of manafir, of benefits,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
there were certain benefit attached to the Marhaba token, it was sold as a utility token. It wasn't a payment token then because Marhaba token was not existent then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't call it a payment token, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it was a utility token. It was sold as a utility token. Therefore, these
Mm-hmm.
people, they are still tied up to the first contract, right?
Okay.
They're still
Okay.
tied up to the first contract. They've paid for it.
Okay.
They've entered into the contract. They haven't received it yet. So for that
Okay.
reason, they do not pay zakat on the marhaba token that they are yet to receive at this moment in time.
Okay.
Okay.
So guys, all your MRHB tokens, don't worry about it. Don't struggle. Don't stress.
Yeah. Only the ones that you
um.
receive, you pay zakat on them. That's it.
Okay. Inshallah. So there you go. That answers majority of my these questions. Let me see if you guys have any other questions, do put them in the chat. Now, before I start closing off and preparing for the questions in the chat, I want to give a hypothetical situation, and here is like it's like a little a workshop that we're going to do together to give people an easier understanding on an example of how much zakat they should be paying or they could be paying. Okay, I'll use very easy numbers, so it's just a sense of understanding. Let's just say I invested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and MRHB token a year ago. Each one of them I paid $100. Let's say each one of them now I made 100% profit on. So now 200, 200, $200. Or we could say Bitcoin is now at 200, Ethereum's at 150, and Marhaba's at 300. So Marhaba made 300% profit, Ethereum made 50% profit, and Bitcoin made 100% profit. So we went from a $300 portfolio to three, five, six, 650. Okay. Am I gonna pay zakat on the 650, or each one of them is gonna be different?
No, if the combined value of all is 650, then you pay zakat on the
Yeah.
650.
Okay. Let's say I had $100 extra in the account then, which I didn't touch, and I still have it now. So now do I pay zakat on the 750 or just the 650 that
Correct.
I have?
Six.
Okay,
So you're
750.
gonna do 650 plus 100. That's 750.
Okay, 750. Okay. Now, I'm just thinking, because we talked about LP tokens. Let's say I also had some LP tokens. They're not worth anything, but they're in my account. It's been a year. Does that 750 change to anything else, or
No, you're not gonna factor in the LP token if they represent, But then
amazing?
it depends. If you have LP token, that means you have
Hmm.
liquidity somewhere. Now, what is that
Yes.
type of liquidity that you have somewhere? It could
Okay.
be,
So
you understand? It could be
yeah,
USDT that you've deposited somewhere. So you would have to pay zakat
uh-huh.
somewhere on that. Yeah.
On that. Okay,
Yes.
a little complicated, but when you put LP, there's two sides of the balance, right? There's the USDT and then the token that you're providing liquidity for the pair,
Yeah.
correct? Let's just say you can't fully determine how much is either side. How do you determine zakat on that?
No, you should be able to determine how much you have on both sides, right?
It's like I think it's like you get it.
You,
Yeah, actually you could, because you can take the exact token amounts
yeah,
on this side, and then you can
you
do
can
the
work on the
calculation.
percentage, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can work
Okay,
on the percentage.
okay, cool. And I think that kind of answers that. So we covered investments,
Yeah.
trading, just stable coins,
Okay, stable
passive
coins,
income.
stable coins.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Stable coins, obviously, there are different type of stable coins.
Mm-hmm.
Stable coin can be backed by something, by some asset. but it
Mm-hmm.
can be backed by certain algorithm or a mixture of both.
Okay. Okay.
Now, obviously, we have to go with the stable coins that are Sharia compliant. That's one thing. Secondly, the
Mm-hmm.
stable coins, if they're Sharia compliant, if they operate as a payment
Mm-hmm.
mechanism, then you pay zakat on their full value. So, like for example,
Mm-hmm.
USDT, you pay zakat on the full value.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So that covers that too.
Gold and silver back tokens, so
Yeah.
TJARX.
Tijarics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people that have invested in crypto back token, as long
Mm-hmm.
as the token represent a true ownership of the goal of real goal, so it has to be Sharia compliant token, then you must
Mm-hmm.
pay zakat on the value of that token of if
Mm-hmm.
it's worth of gold or silver, because gold and silver they're
Mm-hmm.
always zakatable.
But
Yeah,
yeah, and it's not just gonna be gold and silver. There's more things coming. Just as a FYI for people,
but yeah,
we're working on partnerships to establish more
yeah,
fractional based buying and selling on the blockchain.
yeah,
So you guys can benefit from more. Okay, the one more thing that I am thinking that can maybe alter or adjust is proof of mining. Okay, you're setting up a miner. I guess that's an investment as a whole. Let's say you spend $10,000 to set up a miner, and you mine $3,000 worth of Bitcoin, and now you have 13,000 after 1 year. Is this
yeah.
is it?
Obviously, it's what you're receiving. So if you're receiving Bitcoin,
Yeah.
since Bitcoin is a zakatable asset because it's similar to
Hmm.
cash, then you pay
Hmm.
zakat on that on the full value.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the investment of the hardware, the ten
No,
thousand
no,
dollars?
because
Okay.
you paid for the equipment basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
Remember, I said earlier that although when you do a business, the equipment of that business is considered to be a business stock, right?
Hmm.
In the conventional
Hmm.
system. But in the
Hmm.
zakat context, it doesn't work like that. A business stock is
Hmm.
anything you buy with the intention of selling. So
Hmm.
if you have a business, you open a shop
Hmm.
and you're selling things, then the till, you don't pay zakat on that. The fridge, you don't pay zakat on it. They're just part of your
100%.
equipment. So it's same. If you're a miner, the
Got it.
equipment that you're using to mine is not zakatable.
Okay, and what if my intention is, let's just say I'll just sell it in the future. Let's say now I can sell it for $6,000 because the demand is down
You mean
in
the
so
equipment?
equipment.
Again, why did you buy it for? If you bought it
Okay.
with the intention of selling, then you pay
Hmm.
zakat on it. If you bought it to do your work and then later on you
Hmm.
think, oh, I can sell it, it doesn't matter. You don't pay zakat on it. It's like our personal
Okay,
clothes. We use it.
I got it.
If we sell it tomorrow, it is not a business asset because we never purchased them with the intention of selling. So it is not
Hmm.
considered to be a business asset that you have to pay zakat
And I think no one wants to buy my clothes.
on.
We're gonna have issues with that. Uh, okay, that answers majority of the
Yeah.
questions. Anything you wanna say about zakat and crypto?
Well,
Because I want people to get a complete understanding and go out of this knowing that there's solutions.
one thing I will say is obviously, and we will never say it enough, is when you're
Hmm.
buying, when you're investing, you need to know where
Hmm.
you are investing.
Hmm.
You need to understand some of the basic. Okay,
Hmm.
you don't
Hmm.
have to be a financial professional. I don't expect
Hmm.
people, I don't agree that you need to know exactly everything. If you're investing in shares, yeah, you need to know exactly, how balance sheet works. You know, you know, no, you don't need to go to that extent. But you need to know the basic
Hmm.
that okay, I need to ensure that I'm investing in a share compliant project. Yeah,
Hmm.
try to ask scholars, how can I identify a share compliant project, but you need to know where you're investing. It's the same thing with crypto. Don't just buy crypto because there's a big hype around it. Yeah, without even understanding where you're putting your money. Yeah, so
Hmm.
especially when it comes to zakat now, you need to understand what crypto you have in order to determine whether you need to pay zakat or not. Just
Hmm.
like you need
Hmm.
to understand which crypto you're purchasing, you know, to determine whether it's halal or not. Similarly, you need to understand them in order to determine whether they're zakatable or not. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
so you need to understand that.
Okay.
And if you're not sure whether your crypto falls under a utility token, hybrid token, this, well, you need to blame yourself. But still, if you're not sure, then the best thing to do is just pay zakat on the full value of the crypto, just to be on the safe
Okay.
side. If you're not sure what crypto you have.
Okay. Um. All right, Sheikh. I have a solution. Let's do one thing. I have the actual Zakat calculator demo open. Do you
Okay.
think you want to? We can do a quick demo for everybody. It'll be like a quick 5-10 minutes, and then you can go and explain every single thing specifically. And I think that will summarize this entire video, and help people understand better on their
Yeah,
future
that's fine.
calculation.
Yes, let's go for
Okay,
it.
perfect. Okay, let's do one thing. Let me quickly just log on to the demo here, and okay, so that should be that. Okay. Oh boy. All right. All right. All right. Okay. While I set this up, do you want to let people know a little bit more about where they can pay zakat and who's eligible for zakat? Because I think that's also a huge question. For example, if I don't have to pay zakat, am I eligible for zakat? So these questions.
If you don't have to pay zakat, okay. Uh, from the Hanafi perspective, you determine whether somebody is eligible to receive zakat or not if their zakatable wealth is either equal or above the nisab. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, at the moment we're using the silver nisab. In some country, they use the gold nisab, whichever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If your zakatable wealth is equal or above the nisab, then you cannot receive zakat. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, so this is according to the Hanafi school of jurisprudence. Now, they also say that if, for example, your zakatable wealth is below the nisab, but you have a surplus of unnecessary assets,
Mm-hmm.
then this unnecessary asset can stop you or can prevent you from receiving the zakat. Although
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to pay zakat because you don't have the zakatable asset that reaches the nisab, but you cannot receive the zakat. Like, for example, a mobile phone nowadays is a necessary asset. We all need to have a mobile phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like that. It's a fact. Okay. Even if you say, oh, does it have to be a smartphone or can it just be one of them all Nokia? No, yeah. Even with the internet, yeah, it's kind of a necessity. You're so well connected, it makes life so easier for you. You get lost. I can count all the necessary benefit to have a smartphone. So if you
Mm-hmm.
have one smartphone nowadays, it can be classified as a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you have two smartphones and the second one is just there for the sake of it, neither is not part, to help you to work. It's not your working phone. It's just an extra phone,
Mm-hmm.
which is worth 1,000, 2,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Sharia will say to you, the Hanafi says, no, actually, hang on a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't need to pay zakat, but
Mm-hmm.
why an extra phone for? Sell the phone, use the money. When you don't have any more money, then only you
Fair
can
enough.
apply.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, that
Fair
is a
enough.
way to assess.
And,
The other school, they,
mm-hmm.
they, they have different way to assess,
Mm-hmm.
which can be complicated, and it depends, on the context of where the people are living as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. One really quick question before I share my screen here is, do I need to um, pay tax if I'm paying zakat?
Yes,
Okay.
although zakat is distributed in a similar way to tax,
Mm-hmm.
but zakat is not tax. It's an act of ibadah.
Mm-hmm.
Tax is not an act of
Okay.
ibadah. Okay, so you have
Mm-hmm.
to pay your zakat.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is here I've brought us to the Sahal Zakat calculator page. It's automatically calculates your zakat using Sahal wallet, and there's a growing list of assets that's covering in there. So we can go to important notes. It kind of goes and tells you a little bit more details, but let's get right into it. Let's just make a quick hypothetical situation. We'll say you can see here. There's a lot of details that you can select from. We got cryptocurrencies, precious metals, stablecoin, NFTs, utility tokens, hybrid tokens, equity token, REIT tokens, governance tokens, and miscellaneous. So, mashallah, it's quite extensive. Uh, let's say here, let's take this out here.
For,
Ethereum,
yeah.
and we'll put that there. Um, let's say maybe $100. All right, we'll add another asset. We'll say precious metal. We'll say
Now, just one
gold. Okay,
second,
because we have.
Ahmed. Yeah, before
Okay,
that,
okay, sure, sure.
just stay here. Can you see it says not bought for trading?
Ah, okay, I see this. Okay,
Yeah.
bought for trading.
Now, just do the calculation on just do the calculation on both scenario, both for trading and not both for trading.
Okay, let's just say okay, bought for trading. Let's leave it, and I'll add just one precious
Just
metal.
yeah, no, no, no. I want to show people. Actually, yes,
Okay.
I do the precious metal as well. Add gold, gold. Sorry.
Huh. Yeah, and then we'll do $100 or
No,
$1,000. Okay.
yeah, okay, yeah, 1,000 is good. Now put both of them as not both for trading first.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Here you go.
Now do the calculation.
Okay.
So as you can see, the calculator is indicating that you need to pay zakat on both the cryptocurrency and the
Mhm.
precious metal, even though
Mhm.
you did not buy for resale purposes. Why? Because when it comes to cryptocurrency and gold and
Mhm.
silver, the intention does not matter. Do you understand?
Mhm.
Gold
Mhm.
and silver is always accountable, irrespective of the intention.
Mhm.
And cryptocurrency, because they're just like cash, you pay zakat on it. So you buy Bitcoin, even though your intention is to sell or not sell, it doesn't matter. You need to pay zakat on it. If you were to do the
Mhm.
same scenario and you select both for trading, you will give you the exact same calculation. Okay.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So we'll go back here. All right. So do you want me to just do that
Yeah,
quickly?
you're just gonna do the yeah,
All right. There you go.
same because
Same. Exactly.
the
Okay.
calculator knows is that these are always accountable.
Perfect. Let's just quickly add maybe an NFT in there too, and just so people can say, look, guys, this is what we're saying. We're working on this. Inshallah, this will be implemented and deployed onto the Sahal wallet. Now, let's just say you want access to this now, with no problem. What you can do is you can DM me, or you can WhatsApp me, or sorry, actually go on our social media and go and just write in any one of our social medias or our Telegram group specifically or Discord group specifically, saying I'm interested in the Zakat calculator, crypto Zakat calculator, and my team member will take your email, give it to us. We will send out the exact links to you and exact ways of how you can access this. Okay, inshallah. Um, yeah, so let's add an NFT quickly, and we'll do one thing here is that we will add maybe $10 worth of that.
So I just click, on the question mark. I think it gives you some information. So let's show to your users. Okay, so here
Okay,
is referring to Shura compliant NFT. So okay,
very interesting. Okay, there you go. And I think there's more details coming in. So yeah, always these small eye icons or these question mark icons help you get more information on exactly what is being worked on. And then you can do. Let me just add, just because we're here, why not just add a few more things here? Let's say maybe 2,500. All right, now let's do calculate. So you guys can see here, this one is there's no zakat because this was not bought for trading. This was just bought for holding, and there's no zakat on
one
this.
thing I will say about NFT though is that sometimes the
Mhm.
NFT can have an underlying asset that is zakatable.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you
Yeah.
can have like an NFT that represents a certain value of gold, for example. If that's the case,
Hmm.
obviously at the moment our calculator does not factor that into consideration. It just look at NFT, as in the form of art, education, that represents articles. I don't know what I was reading earlier. I think so. I don't know. I think it's the Economist or somewhere else. Was reading an article, and then at the end he says, "Do you want to buy the NFT version of this article?" So
Hmm.
If you buy NFT with the intention of selling, you pay zakat on the full value. If you don't buy it for selling, then you don't pay zakat on it unless the underlying NFT represent a zakatable asset. So if it's gold, then what you do, just go into the gold section and then just add it there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, perfect. So, guys, that was a quick demo. You guys can see that there is a way to do zakat. We talked about a lot of things in this conversation. We summarized that zakat needs to be paid on crypto. Specific cryptos are certain situations, and certain cryptos are you know what do you say are okay not to be paid zakat on, but there's certain that are, and we have the zakat calculators that's coming up. So inshallah, once that's out, that will make your life a little bit easier. But until then, try to follow exactly what Mufti Saab has said in this video. Mufti Bilal has deeply studied this, and that's why he's helping us develop the calculator, and we can take that knowledge and try to implement it within our life and pay the right amount of zakat because it is further upon us. Mufti Bilal, before we finish up, any last few words because we are just about 1 hour.
Yeah, just make the most out of your time, especially in the last remaining days of Ramadan. Just make the most out of it. Try to understand what you're doing. Try to understand the benefit of Salah. The
Hmm.
objective of Salah, the objective of Zakat. Don't just look at Zakat, for example, as an act of charity. Zakat is much more
Hmm.
than that. It's much more than that.
Hmm.
Look at it, as an act
Hmm.
of, it's an act of ibadah. You should,
Hmm.
you should be able to connect yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the zakat payment. But at the same time, because that's what they say, zakat is the right, we pay zakat because it's a right of Allah, because Allah tells us to pay the zakat, but it is also the right of
Hmm.
the recipient. Those people who are deserving of zakat, that's their right as well. So we need to understand why we're paying zakat to these people. There are 8 categories of zakat recipients. Why? What's the connection between them? Look at the objective. And with any action that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed upon us, yeah, we need to
Hmm.
understand, what's the purpose. Don't just approach it like, zombies, robots, and think, okay, I've given my zakat, that's it. I prayed my salah, that's it. No, salah is there
Hmm.
to connect your heart with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ramadan is there. Why? Because we need to achieve taqwa. Why? How is that going to happen? You know, we need to
Hmm.
look at these things. Don't just be, like I said to you, zombies or robot. As soon as you press the button, you do it. As soon as you switch it off, and then I say Ramadan ends, switch off is game over. It's
Yeah,
no.
reboost of energy. That's what it is. It's like a little shot of espresso.
Yes,
But we need to let the energy go throughout the entire year.
that's the shot.
Okay, guys, that oh, there you go, coffee. Yeah, guys, we wish you guys a very happy Ramadan and enjoy the time with your family. The last 10 days are pretty much here, so do spend as much of time in the Bada because you can catch Lailatul Qadr and inshallah achieve the happiness of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Um, this wraps up this podcast. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to us on the comment section, or B, you can go on our Telegram and ask these questions there. We have community managers there to ready to answer all your questions, and we're always here for you guys. As always, like, share, subscribe. Check out the other social media stuff. Take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.